Good evening. Dongamat channel welcomes you to a video about another improvised tool that I made and I broke it. Ooh, that was risky. Before installing the Tops Mini Pry Knife, I did another regrind. I actually hollow ground a little bit here. Pretty crudely. I kind of brought up a fresh fat bevel on the tip there. That was in principle the working part. But aside from using this to spud bark in this direction, which it worked very well, I was also interested in some of the smashing potential and chopping potential. Now this did not chop up here. Didn't chop for you to have as much luck chopping with a rock. But if you could get in there, that was doing some chopping. And this was pretty good for knots up here. You could push this through the bark and through the knots. Going in this way to, if you're trying to initiate, and once you're going, it seems to work better that way around, right? But then I took this and I started smashing hemlock branches with it and, I bust it. This is a half a round, right? So, I could have seen that coming. And indeed, I did think that logically, this being ovular, for strength, you would want to mount the thing that way. But I just thought it'd be more comfortable to have it this way. And I did like it. And this has a pretty easy fix, actually. If I can keep using this handle, all I need to do is epoxy this. I'll take it down, throw some epoxy in there, clamp it, and then I can also do twine epoxy wrap. I mean, most ideal would be to wrap the whole thing and retap the holes, but because the holes are there now, I don't know, there'd be various approaches, because it is quite a nice handle, and I refinished it. And the length is quite good, actually, for spudding bark, But, well, I don't know. I'm not going to do it now, so I'll sleep on it. Maybe I'll just make another handle. Or maybe I'll save this one. I have actually just get up and go and grab the bill hook. My wife dug this out of the carriage house. I had lost track of this one. Took my belt off because I took the knife off. So this handle must have, it's nearly as old as the channel. So if you go back to my very early back catalog, I did a lot of work with this. So actually, I was going to talk about what a crap handle it is, but it's not really that bad. But it's beech, and it's cracked here because this was just a beech pole with with knots in it and stuff. And I spent ages on it. And then it was cracking out down here. So I did this twine epoxy all down there. And then it kept on, I guess. So then I did an experiment with like a kind of a t-shirt rag rug style thing. And I never really finished it. That was an interesting experiment because this area here is so much more flexible than the rest of the thing. It's crazy. And it's a really long handle. It's kind of almost too long for the implement, except that does enable you to work high up and do cool stuff. So this is what is this again? It's a Rogers or a, oh no, excuse me. Yes, Cornelius Whitehouse and Sons, Canuck. An amazing piece. I love this thing. I shouldn't have let it sit in the carriage house getting rusty like this. But I did. And so now I think what I'm going to have to do is cut all of this fiberglass and heat up all this epoxy and grind out the pins and start again. Make a really nice handle for this thing. Maybe not quite as long. You know, actually, you know, you can have a more practical length handle, I guess, and then lash that. Maybe make the handle with lashing capabilities. So if I really need all that extra length, but otherwise, you know, and what it did occur to me is that this section here is quite nice. Twine cutter, you know, you can cut this out and use it to make pocket knife scales or something. Right. So now we're going to have another look at this Skrilnikov knife. Well, let's see, lighting. Is this camera dirty? Maybe. Anyway. You could probably hear my leather jacket creaking. I went for a ride this evening. It was lovely and cold. This just fits on my belts. I probably have a belt that's too wide for it. This kind of flaps around and hits me on the hand when I'm using the knife. I'm not really sure what to do about that. Kind of annoying. Because, you know, such a nicely done lanyard. I don't know whether this was the maker's intention, but you can kind of use it like that. Maybe even the other way. I didn't try that before. You know, I think that could facilitate making certain cuts repeatedly, let's say. Possibly. The cat's eye. Very slicey knife. For fine woodworking, I like something with fatter geometry. But with this kind of blade, you can do anything, pretty much, that you could do with this kind of blade. Pretty much. Thanks for watching. Bye.